Hi, and welcome back. I'm John Dawson. I used to take pride in being what people called high capacity. I could handle more. More projects, more travel, more pressure, more roles, and more responsibility. And for a long time, that felt like a strength. Let me give you a picture of what that actually looked like. So there were seasons when I was flying from Los Angeles to London or Tokyo regularly. Those trips felt like marathons. I'd work a full day in London. Then, because of the time zone difference, Los Angeles office would wake up and then I'd manage teams there. Then, later in the day, Tokyo would come online and I'd have to work there too. It felt like the world never went to sleep. And later on top of that, I had a side hustle running a small boutique agency. And if you've ever worked in an agency, you know the pace is relentless. Clients expect excellence at a speed that feels almost unreasonable. So I'd finish a full day in one time zone and then switch contexts entirely. Well, when I was home in LA, it wasn't lighter. I had 4 young kids at the time. I'd wake up early, make breakfast, get everyone ready for school. Then I'd commute 15 miles. It took an hour and a half each way on the 101 and the 405. There's nothing like LA traffic. It's not just slow, it's soul crushing. You sit there watching your life burn in brake lights. I'd work a full day, rarely stop for lunch, and then I couldn't leave at 5 because that would mean 2 hours in traffic. So I'd wait it out. Leave at 7, get home at 8:30, quick dinner, put the kids to bed, and then sometimes open the laptop again and fix the client website or debug code. That was normal. At a broader level, being high capacity meant something else, too. It meant I refused to be defined by one lane. Recreation management, pastoral ministry, graphic design, software engineering, marketing, UX design, product management, real estate investing. I wanted to be able to pivot into any field and become competent. I didn't want to be pigeonholed. There was a part of me that believed if I applied enough willpower, I could scale into almost anything. And if I'm honest, I loved being overwhelmed. I'm not exactly proud of that, but it's true. There was something intoxicating about juggling more than most people would attempt. It felt like a test of endurance, a proving ground. Could I pull this off? Could I outwork the pressure? Could I compress what most people do in 10 years into 5? And I think part of that, though, was a search for significance. Part of it may have been a fear of failure. And part of it, if I'm really honest, may have been superiority. There's something subtly ego-driven about being the guy who can handle more. The one who says yes when others hesitate. The one who delivers under insane timelines. The one who seems unbreakable. And yes, I think there were moments when I felt a quiet sense of power in that. But there was another layer too. You see, I've always had this impulse to squeeze as much life into the available time as possible. Time feels scarce to me, precious. I've often thought, how can I live 3 lives in the space of one? How can I experience more, build more, become more before the clock runs out? Being high capacity was one way of answering that question. But it came at a cost. Physically, the cost was obvious. Years of sitting, long commutes, long flights, long days in front of screens. I've dealt with sciatica and back issues that I can trace directly to that lifestyle. And the stress. There's no version of that life that wasn't saturated with stress. I suspect my body absorbed more than I realized at the time. Relationally, the cost is harder to talk about. When we were raising a family of 6 in Los Angeles, the cost of living was brutal. I told myself I was doing what I had to do. And there's truth in that. I was providing. I was building stability. But it also meant less margin, less presence. Work was always there between me and my wife, between me and my kids. It wasn't malicious. It wasn't neglect in the obvious sense. It was just constant, always humming in the background. And that background hum steals something. You can justify it all day long, and I did, but justification doesn't erase the cost. The other thing about high capacity is that it becomes self-reinforcing. People learn that you say yes. They learn that you deliver, and so they bring you more. 95% of the time, I said yes. Partly out of gratitude. If someone trusted me with responsibility, I didn't want to turn it down. Partly out of ambition. Opportunity felt too valuable to decline. Especially in the agency world, where saying no to one project could mean losing 10 future ones. You never wanted to be the guy who was too busy. You wanted to be the one they could count on. And I was. And that was the secret to my success. But it was also the trap. Because when your identity fuses with being the capable one, you don't notice when you cross the line from strength into compulsion. You don't ask whether the pace is sustainable. You just keep proving you can handle it. Looking back now, I don't regret being capable. I don't regret building multiple careers. I don't regret learning to operate at a high level across disciplines. But I do question the intensity. I question the need to compress everything. And I question the subtle ego that wanted to be exceptional at scale. And I question the belief that saying yes was always the virtuous move. High capacity feels like power, but it can also be a way of avoiding stillness, a way of outrunning deeper questions. Who are you if you're not needed at that level? Who are you if you stop performing at the edge? That's the hidden cost. Not burnout, identity. If any of this sounds familiar, I'd love to hear how you're experiencing it. And if you're enjoying these episodes, consider subscribing. I'm building this channel slowly and honestly. Thanks for being here on John Dawson Retirement.